strange things are happening around the world, guys. Welcome to Signs and Wonders. Thank you all for watching. An extra special thanks to my channel members, Patreons, all you guys who help out this channel. You guys are amazing. You help this channel keep running. Thank you so very much. Alright guys, let's jump right into this End Times News report for the middle of July. I had a subscriber say, oh, if you're so big and you thank people for supporting you, why not pick a charity? I would. If my channel made more than $300 or $400 a month for me putting 8 hours a day into the thing, of course I would support charities and stuff. Of course, no problem. But right now I'm barely at the point where I can keep the internet on, so you know, it's kind of hard to support charities when you're making that big amount of bucks. Don't forget to give the video a quick like and make sure to leave a comment down below because I do love reading them, guys. Most of them. Marlborough hit by its largest ever recorded flood in New Zealand. Kind of weird, eh? That town's named after American cigarettes, isn't it? New Zealand's Marlborough, the country's largest wine-growing region, was hit by its worst flood on record, July 17, 2021. Marlborough District Councillor Deputy Mayor Nadine Taylor said in a statement that 900 people from 500 properties across Marlborough had been evacuated. Our stop bank network held up very well considering this is our largest ever recorded flood, a far bigger event than the previous biggest flood in 1983, she said. The council has invested a lot in river flood protection since 1983. This was a test of the quality of that work. We kept everyone safe and that was our #1 priority. Fire crews from Picton and Raragani rescued 5 people from 2 vehicles caught in floodwaters at Tumarnia, where rising waters shut down numerous roads. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing these places, guys. I'm from Canada. The bridge over the Wairau River between Picton and Spring Creek was closed at 1530 hours due to very high waters nearing the bridge's base. New Zealand's Met Service had issued red warning for heavy rain in northern Westland and Buller from 2100 hours on Thursday, July 15th until early Saturday, July 17th. This is only the 3rd red warning issued by Met Service since the color-coded warning system was introduced in 2019. The most recent was for the heavy rain that caused significant flooding in Canterbury at the end of May this year, from which a regional state of emergency was declared. Red warnings are reserved for the most impactful weather events and are only issued after close consultation with the relevant regional authorities, including council and civil defense emergency management teams. Havana syndrome strikes U.S. diplomats in Vienna. The New Yorker reported on Friday that State Department and intelligence officials were probing a recent spate of mysterious illnesses that have struck U.S. diplomats in Vienna. Sources say that many of the symptoms resemble those experienced by diplomats in Cuba in 2016, if many of you remember that. The illnesses have been investigated by intelligence agencies, the State Department, and the National Academy of Sciences, with no conclusions drawn about what is causing them. I say we ask Trump. The illnesses were first reported in Havana, but other embassies in Eastern Europe have also reported outbreaks of the illness. Individual cases have been reported in Washington, D.C., and several cases were discovered in Miami. The State Department refers to the conditions commonly known as the Havana syndrome as unexplained health incidents, or UHI. In coordination with our partners across the U.S. government, we are vigorously investigating reports of possible unexplained health incidents among the U.S. Embassy, Vienna community, the State Department said. Any employees who reported a possible UHI received immediate and appropriate attention and care. Some in the intelligence community believe the UHIs are the result of some kind of direct energy weapon. That's what I was thinking. There are some scientists who doubt whether the UHIs are the result of a weapon of any kind and suggest that the symptoms can be explained as some kind of mass psychogenic illness in which people learning of others with symptoms begin to feel sick themselves. I don't know. A State Department report on Havana syndrome obtained by CNN through a Freedom of Information Act request concludes that the U.S. government's response and investigation into the so-called Havana syndrome may have been botched from the beginning and was characterized by chaos and disorganization. Beijing's grip means Hong Kong is no longer special. China plans to exempt companies that are going public in Hong Kong from seeking approval from its cybersecurity regulator following in recent proposed new laws requiring vetting companies for IPOs in foreign countries. The move sends a clear signal that Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Shenzhen are the preferred destinations for Chinese tech companies that want to go public, as the government grows wary that the vast data controlled by tech giants can be vulnerable to the prying eyes of foreign governments. Startups including Zhao Hongshu or Little Red Book are putting their US IPOs on hold. Meanwhile, the Biden administration warned investors Friday about the risks of doing business in Hong Kong, issuing an advisory that China's push to exert more control over the financial hub threatens the rule of law and endangers employees and data. At least President Xi Jinping and Joe Biden can agree on one thing: Hong Kong is no longer special. It's basically the same as any other Chinese city. China's economy is doing fine. The surprising cut to the reserve requirement ratio earlier this month triggered concern in markets that China's economy may be deteriorating fast under the weight of slower credit growth and Beijing's zero-tolerance policy for COVID. But it turns out there was little reason to worry, as data from retail sales to trade all beat economists' forecasts. The RRR cut was largely a fine-tuning of its monetary policy towards supporting more growth, but it wasn't the start of an easing cycle. 3. Yuan carry trade in alive and well. The trade-weighted yuan, or yen, has reached the strongest level since 2016. China's currency has benefited from investors' preferences for carry trades after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell reiterated that the central bank is a ways off from tapering. Adjusted for volatility, the yen ranked as the world's fourth highest yielding currency, trailing only the Argentinian peso, Turkish lira, and Indian rupee. What's really going on with Iran? It doesn't look like the Biden-Obama administration is really interested in peace in the Middle East. Are Biden's officials really interested in concluding negotiations with Iran, or are they just pretending to negotiate to provide cover for Iran while Iran rushes to a nuclear breakthrough? On July 14, 2015, Daniel Greenfield wrote in Front Page magazine that Obama signed the nuclear deal with Iran to cripple American power in the Middle East. Obama did not go into this to stop Iran from going nuclear. He did it to turn Iran into the axis of the Middle East. Supporting Iran is his way of blocking the power of his successors in the White House to presume a more pro-American foreign policy. Obama claims to have stopped the spread of nuclear weapons by allowing Iran to keep enhancing its nuclear program and rewarding it with ballistic missiles for its peaceful intentions. He claims to have negotiated from a position of strength and principle, when in fact he surrendered to the Iranians on position after position. Tehran negotiated from strength and principle. Obama sold out America. ... or sigh. Obama and Kerry have not made this deal as representatives of the United States, but as representatives of a toxic ideology that views America as the cause of all that is wrong with the world. This is not an agreement that strengthens us and keeps us safe, but an agreement that weakens us and endangers us, negotiated by men who believe that a strong Iran is better than a strong America. Their ideology is that of the screaming anti-war protester denouncing American forces in foreign policy anywhere and everywhere, whose worldview has changed little since crying Ho, Ho, Ho Chi Minh. NLF is going to win in the streets. The only difference is that he now wears an expensive suit. Obama was interviewed at this very same time and was bold enough to say that Iran will be and should be a regional power. Since the Biden/Obama administration took over, Obama's insane policies from the past were revived at a record pace. One of these policies was to make Iran a regional power in the Middle East, something Trump and the sane world went against. By isolating Iran and putting in place sanctions and destroying ISIS in the Middle East, President Trump was able to put in place peace deals around the region. Biden/Obama clearly did not want that. World Relief urges Congress to act on immigration reform after judge blocks DACA, declaring it illegal. A Christian humanitarian organization has denounced a recent ruling by a Texas federal judge that prohibits new applications from being filed for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, that protects some people who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children from being deported. The ruling only applies to future DACA applicants and doesn't affect anyone who has already applied for the program. U.S. District Judge Andrew Hannon issued an order on Friday ordering the Biden administration to halt granting new applications for the DACA program. World Relief, a Christian humanitarian group that has helped file over 4,300 DACA applications, released a statement on the same day calling the decision devastating to dreamers. This new decision is devastating for these resilient young people and for their families, churches, communities, and employers, stated World Relief President Scott Arbitraire. Congress should not wait for further court decisions. They must act immediately to finally pass legislation that the significant majority of Americans, including the majority of evangelical Christians, say they support, he added. In 2012, then-President Barack Obama signed an executive order allowing those who were children at the time they were illegally brought into the country to apply for a temporary 2-year status that authorizes them to work. The protection lasts for 2 years at a time and is renewable. At the time it was reenacted, Obama stressed, "This is not amnesty. This is not a path to citizenship. It's not a permanent fix." DACA was initially intended to apply to some 700,000 people who were children when they were brought to the U.S. illegally and had to be younger than the age of 31 by June 15, 2012. The Reverend Samuel Rodriguez, president of the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference, released a statement on Saturday expressing his desire that Congress pass a law to rectify the issue. America's endless string of broken promises to our dreamers lays entirely at the feet of one branch of the United States government, Congress, Rodriguez stressed. It isn't for our presidents, judges, or justice to make our laws. Congress must do that. Inaction in a Democrat-controlled Congress is equally reprehensible in inaction by a Republican-controlled Congress. Both lead to gross injustice. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please pray for these suffering people. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and God bless you and your loved ones.